bar 20 arms. Today we're going to talk about undersizing your sizer die. Now what I have here are two sizer dies. Oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. Alright, we have full length sizer and a neck sizer. Okay, what you're going to do, the first step is to size two pieces of brass. And then in one piece of brass, go ahead and seat a bullet. Once you've done this, you'll need to take your calipers, take the case that you have the seated bullet, and measure the neck. Now imagine that bullet is seated. But what you'll do is you'll measure the neck. You'll write down that measurement. And then you'll take your second sized brass without a bullet and measure the neck there. Be very careful to make sure you're on the neck and don't get down on the shoulder. Now, this measurement here should be at least a minimum of 2/1000 less than the sized case with the bullet. 2/1000 undersized. Now I'd like to say here too, I'm going to put the step-by-step procedure in the descriptions below. That way you can follow along. Now at this point what you need to do is you need to remove the mandrel from your sizing die. To do this, use a wrench on the body. There's two flat spots and then a wrench here, and you'll back this out. Now I've went ahead and loosened mine that way for quickness of video. So I'm going to go ahead and back it out. Now when you do this, you can do it in your press for stability, but your mandrel is going to fall out, so be careful of that. So now you have your mandrel. This is a full length sizing mandrel. As you can see, you got the main shaft, decapper, and then it tapers up. The highest point is your neck. That is the neck sizer right there. So this is the part we're going to be working with. So what you need to do is get 200 grit or better emery cloth. And what you'll do is you'll chuck this in a drill. And what you do is you just chuck it back here. This part's not important. As long as you don't flatten the side or anything like that, it's not going to hurt it. And the amount of pressure you're going to be using, it's not going to hurt it regardless. Don't worry about that. Go ahead and chuck it up in your drill right there. And then what you'll do is, and you may need help at this point, but what you'll do is you'll hold that drill at a steady RPM. You don't want it too fast, you don't want it too slow, but a good medium to high RPM. And you'll take your emery cloth and you'll lay it over this section right here. So you'll basically be holding the emery cloth in both thumbs and then pressing down on the neck portion. Now you want to apply even pressure. Don't go one side hard, one side hard. That's not going to work. You got a nice even pressure in the middle. Just let it work. Now it's going to take a little while, but go ahead and check it frequently. Now at this point you have your measurement, so you know what you need to be. You need to be 2,000 under what your seated bullet measurement, or you want to be 2/1000 under that. Now the reason you done the second one is a guide. That way you know that one, you're not undersized enough, and two, you can just do the math and say I need to take 3/1000 off, 4/1000 off, whatever it may be. And then you can work on your mandrel. So once you get it close to your measurement, whatever you need to do, now you need to polish it. And what you'll use is a Scotch-Brite pad. And you'll put it and you'll keep it in your drill, get that RPM going again, and then you'll squeeze the Scotch-Brite pad right there. And just kind of work it around a little bit and you'll polish it out. The reason for that is to keep this smooth. You want this shaft smooth so it doesn't mar the inside of your brass. If it's rough from that emery cloth, as the mandrel is drug out, it'll actually scar the inside of the brass, and it'll end up wearing your brass prematurely. So you'll want to go ahead and use that Scotch-Brite and polish it out. Once you've completed that, you're good to go. Reassemble it. real easy. Keep note also, you'll want to keep the mandrel, the top of the rod, flush with the nut. It's okay for it to be slightly above, but don't have it protruding like this. That's too far. You want to have it flush, maybe a little bit above it, and that's fine. That's perfect. Go ahead and snug that sucker back down, get it pretty tight, and then you should be set. You should no longer have any neck tension problems. You'll be able to see cannelure bullets, pretty much any bullet at that point, and you'll have a good neck tension. You won't ever have to worry about it again. Now, real quick, on your neck sizer, and this process too is pretty uncommon for a full-length sizing die. This is a common procedure for a neck sizer because a neck sizer is more closely tolerant, or closer tolerances than the full length. But in some cases you'll have to do it to both. But if you need to do this to a neck sizer, it's real easy. Same process, except the cap, it has a cap that you can just twist off, and then you'll remove the innards. It'll expose a drum. You'll remove that. Note the cone shape is up. You'll remove this collet and expose your shaft. Now you'll do the same thing. Do the measurement, see where you need to be, use your emery cloth, work it, and then polish it off with the scotch pen. You'll want it to be real smooth. Now you don't have to go all the way out to the tip, but you'll need to come out to, I would say, 3/4 of that rod. And then you're set. Put it back together. Now you're ready. Now you can do some damage. I would like to also state here, you need to be very careful when you're taking meat off your sizing, off your mandrel. Be very careful. Don't take too much too fast. Make sure measure twice, cut once. So get your measurement, know exactly where you need to be. If you want, you can go thousandths at a time, polish it, put it back together, and size your brass again, and see where you're at. It's not going to hurt anything to do it that way. Better safe than sorry. Go slow, get a good polish, do it right the first time, you won't have to worry about it. But I just want to emphasize, don't go too far too fast, because once you go way undersized, you can't really come back from that, and it's just going to cause issues. Because at that point, you're more or less just crimping it. If you can get it to seat at all, it'll be more of a crimp. But eventually, if you go too undersized, you're just not going to be able to push the bullet down in the case. It's just going to be too much. So there you have it. Real easy process, and it should you should be able to easily do it. I'll put the directions down below. I'll write them out step by step. Thanks for watching. Come back and see us soon, part 21.